Good morning from day 4 on the Kinloch trail. It's Monday morning. A pretty good Monday morning if you look in the background. So the camp, it's an unofficial campsite at Kinloch. You know, there's no facilities or anything, it's just the space you're allowed to camp. So there was 3 of us that were crisscrossing on the trail yesterday, and we camped together last night, but one of the guys was still in his tent or asleep, so I didn't film anything from my tent. I didn't want to disturb him. So they're setting up, I think it's the Cape Wrath Ultra that they're setting up for. That's the big tents in there. I think apparently they're coming through here tomorrow night. That's where I was camping up there. You can maybe just see that one, another X-Mid in fact. That's Kinlochewe, or the buildings. That's Loch itself. Looking down there, it's beautiful. And I'm going this way, climbing up towards the Forkin Ridge and the saddle and the highest point on the Cape Wrath trail apparently. So it's going to be a heavy morning. I've obviously done the saddle and Strathcarron before, but we'll see what it's like from this side. Not going to go all the way up the Forkin Ridge, I don't think. Anyway, enjoying the views. It's just after 6. It's another lovely day, thankfully. A bit of cloud cover. I kind of hope it stays that way. It was getting extremely warm yesterday afternoon coming along that. That's the Loch side path along there. Anyway, let's see. When Darren Curtis did the Cape Wrath Trail, he stayed in this wee hut, which is still open. I'd thought about staying in it last night, but it would have been a bit too much. And the prospect of a flat camp pitch at Kinloch and the view was too good, but that would be handy, particularly in bad weather. The saddle just poking through the clouds there, just in there. I think that's the top. That's the view back. So I've come round this bend here, around this hillside. Still on a good track. Makes the going fairly straightforward. I'm going to stop here. This is the Beelach between Strathcarron and the saddle. I'm going to stop here for 5 minutes. There's been a big pool coming up, and take a wee break. So you have to contour around under the Forkin Ridge. It's actually really easy because you can see there's a wall, so there's blocks all the way along the side of the wall, so it's just kind of stepping stones, which makes it straightforward and very quick because you're just jumping stone to stone. So actually this section here will arrive much quicker than I thought, and the sun's out. You can just see in that bit there, that's the Forkin Ridge up there to the saddle, which is fun. And now the view to Glen Shiel is appearing down in there. the view into Kinlochewe. I remember going up this one here, straight up that ridge. Hourn, I think, possibly. But to avoid walking by the road, I'm going to carry on here and then go down to the left, which is the south of this wee hill, into the valley, and then hopefully pick up a path down there to take me out to Shield Bridge. That's where I've come from, in there. Can't quite remember the name of the wee valley, but you can see the saddles, the one just in there, in the Forking Ridge. So I am nearly at Kinlochewe campsite. It's about a kilometre away. It's been a lovely walk down the valley. There's some trees and there's a decent path. Still fairly heavy going, but I think every day is going to be like that. So I'm almost at Kinlochewe campsite. Here's a wee river. Let's see what the wee bun house has in the Kintail Lodge. Restocking at Kintail Crafts, and going to go in and see what the pit stop at Kintail has. Just sorting some kit out. Had a snack at the wee bun house at Kintail Lodge, which was good. Bacon roll, coffee. Entrance to Morvig Caravan Club. Did all the washing. Now it's hanging up in here to dry. It might dry quicker outside. It's good facilities. There's a laundry room there, and I charged in there. Good morning from day 5 on the Cape Wrath Trail. It's just gone 6 and I left the Morvig campsite. I didn't want to wake anyone up. There was still a few tents asleep, so I didn't do any filming this morning. But it was a good stop. Arrived there about 2 or 3. Did all my laundry, had a shower, sorted everything out and relaxed for a few hours. So that was really good. You always feel good to get that break. I've got a kind of heat rash or something on my feet, so I wanted to get them aired and trying to look after them. We'll just need to see whether it develops or not. it can obviously cause a problem if it does, given the number of consecutive days I've got. But anyway, today starts with a very short road walk and then up to the Falls of Glomach. This is Ben Fada, which I did from the youth hostel, the Glen Affric Youth Hostel. There's a video of that. So it's a lovely morning. You can see looking back in there the sun catching the hills at Invershiel. That's not the name of it, Shield Bridge. So yeah, restocked as well. I think I said that yesterday. Restocked at Kintail Crafts. Got the food I need for the next couple of days. So today is Tuesday and I am due in Kinlochewe on Friday. So I've got 3 days, most likely without any certainly without any shop, probably without any sort of facility. The route that I've got doesn't go past any hotels or cafes or anything like that, so 3 days in the wild, which I'm looking forward to. I could, if my feet get worse, then I'm going to change the route possibly and go into Loch or something like that. We'll see. We'll just see what happens. But the route I've got initially is to go up by Milvue Bothy and then round to Bealach Bernays, round to Craig, from Craig through Corrie Lair, where I've been before, and then round the back of Benny and into Kinlochewe. But as I say, we'll just see how things develop. But for now, up to the Falls of Glomach. So there we go, Falls of Glomach, that way, Kinloch and Glen Affric, that way. When I was coming off Ben Fada, which is just up there, I met someone. I was chatting to them and they said they were doing the Cape Wrath trail, and I said, oh, I didn't know it went this way, are you doing a different route? And they kind of panicked, looked at the map and retreated, retracing their steps, and I of course thought I won't make that mistake when I'm on the trail, particularly not having seen someone do it. But got the head down, concentrating, thoughts a million miles away, and of course made the exact same mistake and missed the cut-off, which I've just shown you. It's quite a indistinct turning point. So I was just head down and didn't see it. Now, I wasn't nearly as far as the person I met. It was a kilometre further on, so a kilometre there and a kilometre back, so not the end of the world. But after thinking this morning, oh, I won't make the same mistake that person made, of course. You go and do it. So yeah, there's a bridge here, so it makes it easier. It's a lovely morning, blue sky, and it's not warm yet, which is good. Very good bridge. This is glorious. Early morning, blue sky, no one else around, and these views. It is perfect. Steep climb, but not difficult because of the good path. I thought it would be a good path because it's a kind of recognised thing to go to the Kinloch Falls. But yeah, it's just, I love it when it's like this. Brilliant. Ominous that it'll be warm later, but maybe we'll be in the downhill by then. The Falls of Kinloch. Long way down. Probably much more impressive when it's not been so dry, which it has been, but still. There's the canyon or the valley. I've come down a wee bit to get that shot, but now I need to work my way back up and find the path that goes along, which is not obvious at present, but we'll see. As looking back, you can't see much of the falls from here. Whether I'll be able to see more later, I'm not sure, but that's looking back anyway. And then the path's quite tricky to find initially, and I ended up taking a detour, so I ended up going up this hill or hillock here and then having to come down, which wasn't ideal. The path runs across the way, but I couldn't quite find it till a bit later, but then I did find it. I came down in there and hit the path and then came round, and it's a good path once you're on it, but just finding it when you come up from the falls is a wee bit tricky. Anyway, that is the Falls of Kinloch. I'm going down there into the shade. That would be nice. The smell of the gorse again is brilliant. It's definitely like a coconut smell, which I don't think I knew before. It's amazing. There's obviously a lot of it and the wind's coming into my face, so it's blowing it perfectly at me. Extremely pleasant. I'll be going up there shortly to Milvu Bothy, but I'm going to take a wee break first. It's obviously a fair bit of uphill, although the path looks good from here, so I'm hopeful. This is Iron Lodge. I'm going to take a wee break here first. break at Hourn Lodge. The view back is quite good. Yeah, I didn't stop for long, just half an hour. Had a snack, took my shoes off, sat in the shade, but you know, there's no real reason to stop there for longer, so I just decided to press on. I might stop at Kinlochewe Bothy, I suppose, or I don't know, we'll see. I'm thinking, I've done 15k today, I'm thinking to do another 10, and it's 12 o'clock, it's the middle of the day, so I'm thinking that maybe I'll just press on and get a bit of an earlier finish. We will see. Climbing steeply up in the heat of the day. All my nice clean clothes are now a big sweaty mess. Let's see view back. There might be a tiny patch of snow over there, or it might just be a shiny rock. It seems unlikely that there would be snow. There was still snow in Glencoe when I passed the other day. So this is going to take me up to the Loch, and then it's straight down the hill to Kinlochewe Bothy. I'll review things there, but I would imagine I will push on. Kinlochewe Bothy. Oh wow. Look at that. Amazing. Look at this. It smells so strong of pine. Look at these platforms. Look at that. It's stunning. Even got a desk, you could come and work here. I don't know if there's Wi-Fi. This big skylight letting all the light in. That's amazing. Right, time for a rest. Kinlochewe Bothy in a stunning location. And it's a brilliant bothy. You can see it's the Cape Wrath Ultra today, or over a period of 8 days, so but they're catching up with us today, so they're all about to come through. But yeah, it's a glorious place. See that looking back. The clouds come in a wee bit, which, although it's still warm, it's maybe not quite as exposed. So yeah, this bit's, the path isn't supposed to be as good, so we'll see how it goes. A couple more kilometres and then I'm going to pitch. I was tempted to pitch. I was tempted to actually stay at Kinlochewe Bothy because it was so nice, but I want to just make sure that I stay on track with distance each day. So we'll press on. This is Loch Calavie in the background. I just need to decide whether and I'm going to camp here tonight, I need to decide whether I'm going to camp at this end. There's a wee beach there which is quite tempting, or at the far end, and I can't see any beach over there. Obviously the advantage of at the far end is that you know, I just need to walk along there, so it gives me another 2 kilometres ahead for tomorrow. Not much, but it's 3:30 in the afternoon, so it's quite early, but I am looking to stop early today and kind of get a wee bit of a, well, a bit of a break, I suppose. yeah, I'm not sure. I will decide. There's the view from the tent at the head of Loch Calavie. So that's, I decided to carry on for another 2 kilometres and pitch at the kind of the west end tent, right on the edge of the beach. I just decided I was going to take a spot that was right on the sand. Hopefully it'll be flat enough, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I wanted to be right on the sand. I'm going to go and wash my feet in the loch. There's a wee bit of snow just up on there. That's one of the Loch 4 on the north side. It's called something like Anrayabachen, and it's actually a really good view of it because you can see it's a really long ridge. I can remember walking along it in winter. I think there's a video of that. It gets a big cornice on this side all the way along, or most of the way along, which can make doing it in winter quite difficult. I was quite fortunate because by the time I got to it, the cornice, or the snow had melted slightly and I could see the ground on top. So that's the Loch 4. Up there is Lardmore and Bidian Ben, Sheesgarnish, cheesecake. People call it cheesecake, that's it. I think I was thinking of the ones in Glencoe for a minute. Yeah, so that's them. I remember doing them as well, they were quite tough. Did them in November. Anyway, it's a lovely view. You would think at a spot like this, miles from anywhere, it would be quiet, but of course the Cape Wrath Ultra's still going by. I don't know if the camera will pick them out, but you can just see them. They're all trotting past, and there is one other tent being put up over there as well. So bizarrely, there's just a steady stream of people right now. Wee update for tomorrow. So what I'd planned to do is to go to Bendroneg Lodge and then turn right, turn north towards Bilach Bernays, and then round by Pollen Vui, which is a really good camp spot, round to Craig, and then up into Corrie Lair. I was keen to camp in Corrie Lair. I've camped there before and it was so pretty, so I was keen to go back there. However, I am a bit worried about the amount of foot ointment I brought, and I've got some problems with my feet, so I'm going to have to change my plan and make a detour down to Loch Carron, and so that means going a way I've never been before, which is good, through the Attadale forest and then into Loch Carron, which is a bit of a road walk. And then I'm going to see what happens and what time it is from there, where I'm going to go and how I'm going to get through to Kinlochewe. I'm going to have to change plans. I don't want to wait until Kinlochewe because I'm not sure what there will be in Kinlochewe. I think the store is a bit unpredictable, and if it turns out there isn't any foot balm in Kinlochewe, then I need to go to Ullapool, but the day I would be arriving in Ullapool is a Sunday, and I already checked that the Boots is closed on a Sunday, so I would then lose another whole day. So the logistics are dictating things, so I'm going to go to Loch Carron tomorrow, hopefully get some foot balm, and then go on from there. I've obviously not got any phone signal out here, but I've got my Garmin, the Garmin InReach, so I was able to text my wife and ask her to check what shops there were in Loch Carron, because I wasn't planning to go there, so I didn't know. she was able to find out there was a spar, and she even phoned ahead, which was very kind of her, to confirm that there is some sort of foot balm or moisturising cream there. The thing I've got with my feet, this might be a bit too much information, but I've got this kind of red redness on the skin, which I actually quite often get when I go hill walking in the summer, but normally it doesn't get that bad, and normally I'm not going, when I've been away for lots of days, it's not got that bad, whereas it's got quite bad. It's been extremely warm, which I think doesn't help. I think what happens is when I've got warm but wet feet, as I've had the last few days, it takes the oil out my feet and makes the skin dry out. I do generally have dry skin anyway on my feet since I was a wee boy, so I think it's taking the oil out of the skin and making them irritated. That's what I'm thinking is up. If it's something else, then I've got problems I don't know about, but that's what I'm thinking is up, and therefore that a moisturiser would help. We will see. The changes you need to make when circumstances dictate to you rather than you dictating to them, but I guess that's part of the challenge, is being able to adapt and change your plans as you go. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. The one thing about Loch is it goes by the Strathcarron Hotel, so there's definitely going to be a coffee there, and I would imagine if Loch Carron's got a spar, it might also have a cafe or something like that, so an unexpected pit stop. I won't be crying about that. I was expecting to have 3 days without any facilities or anything like that, so if I end up with something, then that's a bonus for having to make the detour. There's been a little bit of rain. You can see it's clouded over, having been really sunny today, but it's still really nice. The light is fantastic. I'm just making my dinner and watching the line cast. Good morning from day 6 on the Cape Wrath Trail. Today's Wednesday. I'm having my coffee and taking a few minutes, maybe a few extra minutes, to enjoy the view. There's no midges, the wind is very low, and it's a beautiful view, so taking a couple of minutes to enjoy this before I get going in the day. Apparently there's rain coming in this afternoon, so it could be a bit of a head down day after I've been to Loch Carron, but we will see. Maybe it'll be an early tent day, who knows. It's beautiful. Show you. You can see it's so still. This is the junction, so to the right up that way is Blackburnaise and then round to Craig, but I need to go to the left this way to Strathcarron and then on to Loch Carron to get some stuff. Over there you can see Bendronegg Lodge, which I've never been to. It looks lovely. Apparently it's a very good bothy. It's quite early though, it's still before 7, so I'm not sure that'll stick my head in. I wouldn't want to wake folk up, but we'll see. Let's see what the Strathcarron Hotel has. I think the entrance is round the other way. Coffee, tea, cake. That sounds ideal. Crossing the River Carron. And that's Loch Carron down there. So I'm just walking up from Strathcarron to the road, the kind of the other bit of the main road, where I'm going to try and hitch a lift into Loch Carron. It's about a 7-kilometre walk, so, and it's on the road, heavy in the feet, so if I could avoid doing that by getting a lift, then that would be great. We'll see whether I manage or not. And then once I get this foot ointment, then I can get going again. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. The weather's to turn this afternoon. It's probably not going to be good enough weather for going round the back of Ben A or to make it worth it, so got a few decisions to make later on, but I'll do that once I'm in Loch Carron. It was a good stop in Strathcarron. The Strathcarron Hotel is well worth stopping at. Absolutely fantastic bacon roll with haggis and black pudding, and a fairly decent coffee as well, so that was well worth stopping. You shouldn't ever walk by somewhere like that on a trip like this, because you don't know when the next one is going to be. Right, all we need now is a lift. Well, I got a lift very quickly. Very kind person picked me up and ran me into Loch Carron, where I got an ice cream, a nice lolly, which is very nice, and I got a tub of hand cream for my feet. I'm going to go and find a cafe, another cafe I think, and see if there's another shop as well. But yeah, it's beautiful, lovely place. That'll be I would think that'll be the Attadale Gardens over there. You can come down that path. I thought about it, but it gives you a long road walk. So yeah, all is well. So I am at Kinlochewe station, which I hitched back along the road and got picked up again very quickly. So that was really good, because it would have been about I think 3-hour road walk, possibly more, I can't quite remember. I think it was about 15k, and it's a really busy road, so I was really glad to get a lift, and I got picked up really quickly. I think people here are happy to do it, so that was really good. So a detour into Loch Carron, got the things that I needed, got 3 coffees I think, got some fruit, bacon roll, cake, yeah, some milkshake. It was an excellent stop, an excellent detour. So I'm going up to Kinlochewe station, which is where I would have gone, which is where I was planning to go after Bealach Bernays and Pollenbury. It was to come across and go up here anyway, so I'm basically back on the route that I had planned and heading up towards Kinlochewe. So this is a route I've done before when I came to do the Munros, and one that I'm really fond of, so I'm quite keen to go up here. However, I've decided to change my plan. The plan was to go to Kinlochewe and camp there and then go through and go round the back of Benny. However, I've checked the forecast and it's going to rain this afternoon and tomorrow and be low-lying cloud tomorrow when I would be at Benny. I've been to Benny before in low-lying cloud, and so I don't really want to do that again. I was hoping that maybe the weather would be good and I'd get to see the triple buttress in the sun, but if I'm not going to see it, then I'm not going to go. So what I'm going to do is take a diversion, go into Kinlochewe early and take my rest day a day earlier than I'd planned, so that I can then leave Kinlochewe a day earlier and use that time for the second half of the trip. The road up at the Cape's closed and the ferry may or may not be running, so the trip might be 30 kilometres longer once I reach the Cape than I'd planned, and so I'd become a bit concerned about that, adding that on at the end. So having an extra day to do it will just make that easier. So quite a lot of logistics and changing the route and so on, but I'm quite happy with the way that it's working out. So I'm going to head up here, this is where the station is, and go up and have a look around in Kinlochewe and then see what happens from there. I've got to go up this bit here. I remember it from before, and it's quite steep. I remember I was doing it into the evening, trying to get up into Kinlochewe to camp, and I remember I was having to move quickly. It was tough going. Kinlochewe behind me, which is as pretty as I remember it. The pitch is not quite what I remember it to be. I seem to recall there was a nice flat bit, but it turns out it's all rocky, so it's not ideal, but it'll hopefully be okay. So I'm going to go in and get set up. So the best laid plans. I have 1 bar of reception on my phone and it was getting quite windy, so I thought I would check the forecast. And what I've discovered, which I didn't know about until now, is that there's a weather warning in place for tonight, and there's very high winds forecast. They're going to be around, or gusts of up to 50 mile an hour here. There's a bit of discrepancy. I checked for Kinlochewe and it was only about 30, which isn't too bad, but Achnasheen is up to 50, so I'm not sure what it's going to be, but every now and then I'm getting a gust that really batters the tent. So I'm about 450 metres up here, so I think what I'm going to do is move to lower ground. I've packed everything up. I had a nice spot. My tent clothes all on, my water, it was all set up for the night, and of course had to pack it all up. But the wind's only going to increase. It's 5:30 at the moment, and it's going to increase all the way up until 10 PM. So if this is what it's like now, then by 10 it's going to be battering the tent, and it's to go on like that the whole night. So at the very best I would get no sleep from the noise, and at the worst then the tent might get damaged, which would not be worth it given the trip that I'm on. So I'm going to move on to lower ground. I also managed to Google, and I think there's a bothy on the path I need to take anyway, so I'm going to move towards that and see what's down there anyway, whether I can get some shelter or maybe even stay in a bothy, I'll see. So all changed and back on the road again. I've got all my waterproofs on this time for the first time in the trip. You can maybe see the wind starting to just pick up right now. So, going to be a wet couple of hours. Walking down the wee path towards the Cooling Pass. It's been a lovely walk, even though it's been raining. Lots of Scots fir. And now this wee bridge and waterfall, and then downwards. Very nice. And I think this might be a little bothy, which I'm going to take a wee look at. I'm not sure if I'll stay in it. It's a lot calmer down here than it was up at Kinlochewe, so I could as easily just pitch my tent somewhere, which I might well do. We'll see. Well, I got to the wee bothy that I showed you a picture of. I think it's called the Tea House, and there was a couple there who were very welcoming and happy for me to stay, but it's really small. I would have been cuddled up with them, I think, if I'd stayed, so I opted, and also the wind's a lot less down here, it's much calmer, so I opted to carry on just a bit further, and now I am camped in the woods in a spot that I'll try and show you a photo of, and it'll probably look idyllic, but actually the ground isn't very good. It's quite a lot of branches and it's not particularly flat, but that's just the way it goes. So might not be the comfiest of nights, but tomorrow I will be very close, 10 kilometres to Kinlochewe, and then into a rest day, so that should be good. So I'm gonna, it's after 8, it's nearly 8:30, so I'm gonna make some dinner and then I'll go to sleep pretty quickly and see what sort of sleep I get tonight. Good morning from day 7 on the Cape Wrath Trail. I'm in the Coolin Estate, just ahead is Coolin Lodge, and I'm walking down into Kinlochewe. So I told you last night I was camped in Kinlochewe, I think I showed you that, and then the wind picked up, and the forecast was for the wind to pick up even further, so I decided to move. I called in at the Tea House Bothy, which I'd never been to before, but it's very small, and there was a couple there. They were very welcoming, but I opted not to stay there. I thought the map looked as though there would be some good camp spots, but inevitably it was getting a bit later I was kind of wet and tired, and I just took a spot that turned out to be terrible. It was kind of under a tree, punctured my plastic covering for my tent, which isn't a tragedy but still, and was on a slope, which was the main thing, and I thought it was going to be okay, but after an hour, just as I'd cooked my dinner, I thought this isn't going to work. The wind's quite high and the tent's unevenly pitched, so I packed up everything again and walked a few kilometres downstream and found another place that was flat, but it was much more exposed to the wind. So it was a windy night, and all in all, not a great one, but that's what happens. This morning it's actually quite cold. It's quite nice though, and I think that'll be curry layer in there. This is onto the cooling estate and the cooling lodge, I think. So it's 6 kilometres into Kinlochewe, and then I'm going to take a rest day in Kinlochewe, or for the rest of the day. I'm just going to take it easy. I've got a pitch booked at the campsite there tonight, so I'm planning to do all the usual: have a shower, laundry, charge, rest, restock, resupply. I've got a box waiting for me at the campsite, I hope, and I'll buy quite a lot of stuff in the shop as well. I just sent the dehydrated meals. So anyway, about 6k into Kinlochewe. Benny in the background. Not really a day for going up it, or even round the back of it. It's that big bit of cloud there. So, good decision to go into Kinlochewe, which I can just see just in there. I misread the map and it was actually 10 kilometres rather than 6. Not to worry. Almost there. And I'm on the downhill now. Arriving in Kinlochewe. It's just about 9 AM. So I can't get into the campsite till 1, so I'll go to the cafe and the shop and so on. But the plan is basically to relax for the rest of the day. So since I was last in Kinlochewe, the wee service station cafe has changed, and they now have a kind of sheltered outside seating area rather than the inside seating area. It doesn't have chargers, although it does have a small heater. But anyway, it's quite cold, so I've been sitting in there for a couple of hours. I can't check into the campsite until 1, so I thought I would sit in the cafe and kind of do the things that I need to do, but it's not quite worked, or that it might be warm enough to sit outside. This is the only cold day it looks like on the trip, the day that I'm not actually moving very much. So a wee bit unlucky with the way that that's worked out. But it's almost 1 o'clock and I'm going to go and check in, put the tent up and then begin sorting stuff out. So yeah, nothing too bad, but just not quite as comfortable as I had thought it might be. The hotel also doesn't open for drinks until 4, so so I wasn't able to go into the hotel, but I will try and go back there later for something to eat. But it's kind of not too wet at the moment, and yeah, it's been okay. I just sent one resupply box on the trail, and it was here to Kinlochewe, so yeah, some compeed, some tape, some bars, but I'll buy more, and some dehydrated meals. I just wasn't sure exactly what would be here. There isn't any dehydrated meals, so I wanted them, but the bars I needn't have sent. But anyway, I'm going to get this all unpacked.